Just 2 days before his 55th birthday, Leroy Fowler fell dangerously ill. His symptoms had been on and off for weeks. They did not seem to align with any condition that he could pinpoint, and by mid-November 2022, they were only worsening. On the morning of November 11th, the bizarre symptoms came to a head. Leroy was incoherent and unable to stand. His long-term girlfriend, Judy, called for an ambulance. While he received treatment, an investigation was launched, and investigators began to untangle the many complications of Leroy Fowler's love life.
I've done everything for that man in the name of love. Everything. Mm-hmm. To want him dead? Yeah. No. Never.
Hi there, I'm Kevin, and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today's case is about a love triangle, but there's not much love in this story. What there is in abundance are secrets, jealousy, rage, and the kind of nasty language you would not expect to hear from a retired school teacher. Let's take a look. At 2 minutes past 8 on the morning of November 11th, 2022, emergency services in Salisbury, Massachusetts received a call from a woman at her home on Central Avenue. Her longtime boyfriend was ill and unable to stand.
Yes, 108 Central Ave, we need an ambulance. You know what's going on there? I don't know. My boyfriend must have ingested something, and he can't stand, and I can't help him, and he's torn the bedroom apart trying to stand. Now his nose is bleeding, and he told me, call the ambulance.
The address on Central Avenue contained more than one apartment. The caller, 64-year-old Judy Church, and her partner Leroy Fowler lived on the upper floor, accessible via a set of stairs on the side of the building. Judy's adult son lived in a unit on the lower level.
No, they said up the ramp, which I would assume is this one. Can you call it back? I'm getting no answer to the doors.
When firefighters and EMS arrived, no one answered the door. Uncertain of which unit the call originated, they lingered outside of the building.
Someone in there? We were able to reach her.
When they made their way inside, responders found the home cluttered and dirty. Through the messy kitchen, they found 55-year-old Leroy Fowler in a bedroom. He was conscious, but appeared unable to communicate clearly. Judy repeated the same assumption that she had stated to 911 dispatch. Leroy must have ingested something.
He's got a careful. Leroy! It's like a seizure, maybe?
When's the last time you saw him, like, normal?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Last night.
Last night. So today, you guys woke up, where?
And, watching TV, doing whatever. And, to my knowledge, he did not have any drugs on him.
Even like marijuana or anything like that? Anything?
No.
Gummies, stuff like that?
No, he doesn't see them. This looks like perks to me.
Okay.
I've seen it before. Yes. I've seen this behavior.
Reacting to it. Okay.
Judy told responders that she had experienced a similar episode with Leroy before, when he took Perks, short for Percocet, a prescription drug that contains both oxycodone and acetaminophen. It is taken to treat moderate to severe pain. It is highly addictive. In addition, she explained that her boyfriend has a pacemaker and smokes too much.
He was talking to
Just that, and, call the ambulance.
So you actually told her to call the ambulance?
Yes.
Well, relax, Leroy, we got you. Sit back. Sit back, big guy. tough time getting him out of here. It's like cluster. He's like combative because I don't know if he had a seizure or something, but.
After some rearranging, a pathway through the clutter was cleared, enabling a stretcher to reach Leroy, who was safely removed from the house. He was transported to Anna Jacques Hospital in Newburyport. Over the following hours, Leroy's condition worsened. Physically, he was declining rapidly, and doctors were unable to identify the cause. Mentally, Leroy was also displaying signs of reduced capacity. Just as the first responders noted inside the house, medical personnel at the hospital found him incoherent, unable to respond to basic commands, and thrashing around on the stretcher. As he worsened, Leroy was transported to Mount Auburn Hospital in Cambridge. There, doctors began to pinpoint a cause for his illness. They detected the presence of ethylene glycol. Leroy's symptoms could be explained by antifreeze poisoning. Investigators from the state police paid a visit to his girlfriend, Judy Church. They began by asking her about Leroy, his routine, habits, and how he was behaving in the hours before she placed the call to 911.
So, just so you know, we have body cams. I don't know if
Body cam, yeah.
So just it's on. It's recording.
Oh, yeah.
Is this comfortable for you to talk about it? Okay. I'll let you go. Just because Leroy's in critical condition, we want to just follow up and just kind of find out what happened.
The state police spoke with Judy outside. She insisted the interior of the house was too dirty for them to enter. After delivering a pizza to her son, Douglas, he too joined them on the sidewalk. She believed that Leroy had not eaten or drank anything unusual before falling ill the morning before. However, she admitted that Leroy was known to take Percocet and occasionally snort cocaine. The couple had been together for roughly a decade and shared their home in Salisbury for nearly as long. Leroy had his own space to spend time. Judy called it the back room, where responders had first entered the house. She did not know if he kept any supply of drugs in the house, though if he had ingested something, as she assumed, there must be a stash somewhere. That morning, Leroy had been awake in the back room. She heard him open and close the refrigerator to retrieve a soda. They spoke briefly around 4:30 a.m. At around 6, he came into the bedroom.
He comes into the bedroom. He falls asleep out in the back room. And then comes in. We had some relations between the two of us, I'm not going to say it on camera.
Yeah.
And everything was fine.
No, it's
But
like
he-
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but he told me, he says, I fell like 3 times. I can't walk. And he says, he had to go to the bathroom. And I said, let me help you. Well, he was legless.
And was that also around 6 a.m.?
No, it's now 7.
Now 7. I don't know.
7.
You like this. All right.
Anyways, I was trying to get him back into the bed. He did. He got back into the bed. He's like, goes back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me help you. Boom. He falls. Our bed's like this high off the ground. Boom. Fell right out. Took all the covers with him. Every time I got him close to even getting a hand up on the bed, he'd turn. And, and it'd be like, oh, here we go. And so he bounced around the room, and I was like, do I need to call the ambulance? And that was maybe 7:30. I tried to get him to say my name, talk to me. Can you hear what I'm saying? And he really had no words, but he did say call the ambulance.
It was not clear to Judy what kind of substance her boyfriend had taken, she said. He was known to sometimes leave for days at a time.
He does, he leaves for days.
Yeah, he'll leave for days.
Yeah, he's not always here. Let's put it that way. He's not always here.
He likes to party.
Like going on like a bender type situation.
Yeah. He's got another, he loves me.
I have people in my life like that. I know what you mean, with people that you care about who go off on benders, and it's almost like two different personalities.
Judy described her boyfriend's behavior as work hard, play hard. Except Leroy was not in regular work. Years earlier, sometime around 2016 or 2017, he developed a series of health problems and fell back on Social Security and disability payments. Since then, he had taken on odd jobs, but had not worked consistently. Around the same time, Leroy was also developing something else, a second, romantic relationship.
How long has he lived here with you? Because I was under the impression he didn't live here.
10 years.
So he's lived here for 10 years with you. So he doesn't just come over and visit.
No.
Oh,
This is his home.
I must have misheard. I thought that, but you're his girlfriend, right?
Who
Not his
did you
wife.
hear from? Yes.
When I was talking to my lieutenant who called before I came up, so it's kind of like a third party thing. They were like dispatching me.
Right.
They were like, "Yeah, I guess he was visiting his girlfriend." So I thought he was visiting you, so he didn't live here.
Yeah, I'm not the visitor girlfriend.
No, he was visiting you because I know this is your house, right? I take what someone tells me. I write my report. I would have been. He doesn't live here. He visits from time to time to see his girlfriends. That's what I thought.
Whether the state investigator had genuinely confused Judy's status as the live-in girlfriend with his other, occasional girlfriend is not clear, though any confusion sorting Leroy's personal life was understandable. When Judy Church and Leroy Fowler began their relationship in 2012, she was 54 years old and married to a man named Rusty, with whom she had her son, Douglas. Leroy, a motorcycle-riding, fun-loving 45-year-old, had come to live as a boarder in the home she shared with her husband. While Leroy also had a son with a long-term partner named Judy and was a stepfather figure to her children, they had never married. Leroy worked primarily in construction jobs, at one time owning and operating his own home improvement and roofing business. Despite their romantic entanglements and age difference, the two fell for each other and began a secret affair. After Rusty discovered the betrayal, Judy left with Leroy and set up a new life at the house on Central Avenue. They lived comfortably off of Judy's salary as a grade school teacher. She owned the house in Salisbury, purchased Leroy a truck, not one, but 2 motorcycles, and more recently, a trailer home in Florida. They had been making plans to move south in the days and weeks before he fell ill. Of course, if the move was intended to be permanent, Leroy would need to break off his ongoing romance with his second girlfriend, a woman named Barbara Randall. Leroy's romance with Barb was no secret. The two had been involved for roughly 6 years. Barb and Judy did not know each other, but they knew of each other, and neither was happy about the arrangement. Barbara referred to Judy unaffectionately as Grandma because she believed she looked like one. Judy, in turn, referred to Barb harshly and repeatedly as a cunt. After years of bouncing back and forth between the two women, each of them had reason to be angry with Leroy. Both the same motive, for murder. On the evening of November 13th, 2 days following the 911 call, Leroy was removed from life support and passed away. Doctors believed his kidneys and other organs had been irreparably damaged by ethylene glycol poisoning. Judy spoke with detectives the following day at the station. They began with an assurance that she was not under arrest and would be walking out the door when they were finished speaking. Despite the reading of Miranda rights, the tone of the conversation was casual.
I'll probably end up just propping it here. It's easier than wearing it and get in the way.
Okay. I'm scared.
Nothing to be scared about. Like you said.
Arrest?
No, you're absolutely not under arrest, okay?
Judy reiterated the same series of events as she had initially outlined in her driveway 2 days before. Now, however, were added details of Leroy's recent visit to see Barbara. He returned with Percocet, she said. She knew nothing about drugs. That was Barb's domain.
And he told me that he had to go over to we call it the CUNT. And he realized she had taken his disability money goes on a prepaid card each
Who are you
month.
talking about?
Barbara.
Oh,
Randall.
okay. Barbara Randall. Okay. I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
Yeah, I lived with it.
Yeah.
How
long
much I
has
love that miss.
dynamic been going on where Barbara's been in the picture as well as you? I understand that would be challenging to say the least. Has it been like a year or?
No, longer. Since 2016.
Okay, so it's like 6 years. Okay, that's been going. But prior, because how long were you with Leroy for? In like a dating relationship?
2012.
So 10 years. So would you say you had the first 4 years of your relationship was pretty, like just, I guess you and him? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then all of a sudden, 2016.
He meets up with this woman and she hooked him on the perks.
Okay.
I know that.
Okay.
On the morning that he fell ill, Leroy came to the bedroom claiming to have fallen over 3 times. He needed assistance to use the bathroom. In spite of these stated difficulties, Judy said they were intimate and later lay in bed talking.
After that, he said to me, I'm going to die. You know that, don't you? And I told him, stop. That's what he usually says to me, stop. If I ask questions about where he's going to stop. So he stopped. So he used to back at me. And
By this point, Judy had suggested several theories to detectives to explain her boyfriend's illness. Aside from the drugs she claimed Barb gave him, Judy and her son, Douglas, had suggested that carbon monoxide poisoning could be at fault. If not carbon monoxide, perhaps he was exposed to rat feces under the house. She had heard that could be lethal. Eventually, Judy came to learn that there was no sign of Percocet in Leroy's system, which finally put an end to that theory. Detectives decided to reveal to Judy the foreign substance that preliminary results had found.
We had preliminary results of what that toxin could be, and antifreeze was detected in his system. So that's what the preliminary results are. They need to wait till the official lab results come back. But we talked to the doctor. That's what is preliminarily determined to be in his blood. I'm trying to figure out how that could have got in his blood.
I don't even know if we had antifreeze at the house.
Okay. Kind of now me telling you I know, you don't see him doing that.
No,
okay.
No, not ever. He kind of likes himself, he's a private man. He's a proud man.
Yeah.
Likes his world to be his own world, and just knowing that about him, it would be just total opposite.
Of what he would
to
do.
Drink
to just do something like that.
Right.
Okay, because
But then he said to me, I'm going to die.
While the interview was taking place, so too was a search of the home Judy and Leroy shared on Central Avenue. Curiously, the undeniably dirty home contained countless bottles of household cleaners. There were detergents, spray bottles, and other liquids on countertops and under cabinets. Officers also found a large jug of Rain-X on the kitchen counter. It was a quarter full of the bright orange product. With the knowledge that Leroy had consumed ethylene glycol, commonly found in antifreeze, this discovery was of particular significance. Leroy was known to enjoy very sweet, sugary drinks, the perfect disguise for the naturally sweet taste of the poison that killed him. Next to his bed in the back room were 2 opened cans of Fanta, an orange soda that Judy recalled him drinking that morning. With the number of empty cans located throughout the house, these seemed the most likely mode of delivering the poison. One of these cans was taken from the back room, as well as the Rain-X bottle, for testing. So was a third bottle, this one more suspicious, a nearly empty fruit punch-flavored Powerade. Family reported that this drink was one of Leroy's favorites. Other fruit punch bottles found in and around the house confirmed that the fruity liquid was red in color. Yet, in this one bottle, the fluid left in the bottom was a distinctly bright, almost fluorescent orange.
I'm just trying to piece it together. If the test results do come back that it is antifreeze, is there any enemies of Leroy? Is there anyone that you could see doing this? Anyone that would have the ability to do it?
Well, there's Barbara. She's batshit crazy.
Okay. Would she have like the motive or drive to do that? Like,
Yeah, because he leaves, he comes back to me. He always comes home to me. I don't talk to her. I don't want to see her. I don't even want to bump into her. She's just evil incarnate. And I'm not just saying that because I hate her. I know there's all kinds of drugs being sold in and out of that house.
I know you love Leroy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So did she love him, or was she just kind of he was a side piece to her, and you could see?
I think she loved him too.
Okay.
If evil can love.
Yeah.
Where did she think about Florida? Did Leroy talk about her?
And she just
You guys are going to be moving down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did he ever talk about her in regards to Florida? I'll never see her again. I don't care.
He would say things like that to me. I got to get out of here. He kept saying, I got to get out of here.
On paper, Barb had the same motive for murder as Judy. Indeed, Barb would even confirm that Leroy had planned to leave her when the time came to move to Florida. He had chosen to be with Judy, after all. Yet, when the Fowler family, sister Tammy, son Leroy Jr., and stepson Michael were asked the same question about Leroy's potential enemies, they did not point the finger at Barbara. They believed that Judy could have been mixing poison into Leroy's morning milkshakes.
Is there any reason why Leroy's family would say that you were poisoning him?
I said that to Tammy the other day, just the other day, and that's why they got it in their head. It was a joke between Leroy and I. Okay. He's always saying, they know how much I love them.
Yep.
So, I don't know why Leroy would say that.
The sister, Tammy, is also aware of it.
Yeah.
Judy freely offered the passcode to her cell phone for detectives to extract and look through her data. She claimed not to know Leroy's password. Though once investigators began viewing what she had on her device, they quickly realized that at some point she had been accessing Leroy's files and making copies of them. On Judy's phone, there were photos and text message exchanges between Leroy and Barbara. She also took photos of those that Leroy had saved of the two of them together. A snapshot from 2020 showed the still image of a short video file, Leroy down on bended knee and Barbara sitting in front, smiling widely. The video was of one of the two instances when Leroy had proposed marriage to Barb. Also on her phone were 13 videos, all taken on the morning of November 11th, before she placed the call to 911. The first was saved at 7:29 a.m., about a half an hour before she reached out for emergency services, and right after she told detectives they had been making love. Judy was instead recording Leroy, her voice occasionally coming through, taunting him as he tried and failed to stand.
You having fun?
Test results on the items from the home returned a match to ethylene glycol, as anticipated. It was present in the orange liquid found in the bottom of the Powerade bottle, though it was not determined whether the Rain-X was the source of the poison. DNA testing on the bottle's mouthpiece confirmed both Leroy and Judy had been in contact with it. In Massachusetts, products containing the sweet-tasting poison are legally required to include a bittering agent to render the poison unpalatable. Testing was never performed on the orange liquid to determine if this bitter ingredient was present. Yet, Commonwealth prosecutors had a very strong case. Leroy loved sugary drinks. He was rumored to have lost some sense of taste after falling ill with COVID, and years of heavy smoking had likely wreaked havoc on his taste buds. Leroy Fowler was perhaps the perfect victim to poison. On December 22, 2022, Judy Church was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The former schoolteacher was 67 years old when she went to trial in March 2026. Judy maintained her innocence of the murder, as well as her ignorance of how Leroy had managed to consume the poison that killed him.
It's a red Powerade fruit punch drink. It is known to be, by family members who tell the police, this is Leroy's, one of his favorite drinks. This is one of his favorite drinks. And it's in a clear plastic bottle. And in the bottom of it is not something that doesn't look right. In the bottom of it is something that's bright orange, a bright orange liquid. Antifreeze and other things that use ethylene glycol have to have a bittering agent in it to alert people, right? So if there's not an accidental consumption or something like that. Doesn't mean you wouldn't be able to chug it down if you were determined, but you would be alerted to its presence. They don't test for it. Ever. Even now. But the defense does. We hire a lab and say, hey, we're going to test for this bittering agent. Was it in there? And they do the testing and they find, yes, it was. The bittering agent was in substance. But Judy Church is not a murderer. She's a lot of things. The daughter, sister, a mom, teacher, an educator, an ex-wife, girlfriend, a bit of a fool. She's not a murderer.
In the weeks before his death, Leroy confided in multiple individuals about his health concerns. His search history showed confusion surrounding his symptoms and attempts to diagnose his illness, though he did notice that his condition would worsen when at home and improve when he left. Eventually, he told his stepson and another friend that he believed Judy was poisoning him. To his son, Leroy Jr., he said to look to Judy should anything happen to him. She claimed her boyfriend's statements about poison were nothing more than an ongoing joke between them. Leroy's cousin told the jury that he was present for an exchange in which this joke was made, but he did not believe that anyone was laughing.
At some point during your interactions with Mr. Fowler and Ms. Church that day, did the subject of cheating on a partner or spouse come up?
Yes.
Okay. And what was Ms. Church's comment about that sort of activity?
She said, if he ever cheats on me, I will poison him.
Okay. All right.
And Leroy, according to a statement you made previously, Leroy was there and he laughed or smirked or smiled in response, right?
And,
yeah.
Tipped his head off the side.
So, and you thought, this is just a joke these two are having, right?
The way it was said and the fact that I knew he had another girlfriend made me uneasy.
While traveling to Vermont for a 3-day building job, Leroy passed the time chatting with his coworker and stepson, Michael. Amongst the topics they covered was his relationship with Judy.
Now, during one of those drives, did Big Leroy tell you that he was sort of concerned about regarding his relationship with Judy?
Yeah, he said he thought she was poisoning him.
Okay. And do you remember what time frame that was in relation to his death? So he died on November 13th, 2022. Do you remember about when that was in relation to the
maybe October.
Okay.
He was just saying that he would feel dizzy, his stomach was bloated, diarrhea, throwing up. Just think that's about it.
Did he mention having a hard time breathing?
Yeah, he did say he was having a little bit of a hard time breathing.
The prosecution believed that Barbara Randall's relationship with Leroy was the key to understanding the case. It was the source of Judy's rage. Leroy Fowler Jr. told the jury that one of the ways Judy directed her jealousy was by using a voodoo doll. Formed out of an old sock, the doll's face was drawn in black marker. Written across the bottom was the name Barb. Leroy testified that Judy would place pins in the doll and throw it around the house. He also told the jury about one of the ways that Judy kept his father happy, by purchasing him things. Items included his new pickup truck and motorcycles. A second motorbike was gifted to him after she spotted Barb riding on the back of the first one.
She would buy him things.
What kind of things?
Clothes, shoes, material things.
Did that include a truck?
Yes.
And did that seem to work?
When Barbara took the stand, she reiterated much of what Leroy Jr. had said about his father. He was financially dependent on Judy, but he was happiest, it appeared, when he was with her. The 64-year-old former hairdresser and salon worker explained the history of her romance with Leroy Fowler.
How often would he stay at your house?
He'd stay a couple nights, then he'd go home.
Where was home?
At my house. Oh, his house? At Judy Church's.
Who was Judy Church?
His other girlfriend.
And you were aware of Miss Church being his other girlfriend from the time you started seeing him after he Facebook messaged
Not
you?
in the beginning, no.
How long after you started, when you reconnected with him, did you become aware of Miss Church?
I would say within 6 months.
And were you aware that he was going to Florida?
Yes.
How did you feel about him going to Florida?
I told him to go, have a good time.
And why was that?
Because I was done with it. I didn't want the back and forth anymore. It was over to me.
And when you say over, how many times would you and Mr. Fowler be over and then get back together?
Numerous.
So when you would tell him it was over, was it ever really over?
No.
When Mr. Fowler would tell you it was over, was it ever really over?
No.
Who would always be the one to come back?
Him.
During the course of your relationship with Mr. Fowler, did he ever propose to you?
Yes.
How many times?
Twice.
Did you say yes?
I did the first time. The second time I must have said yes, but I don't really remember.
And then is it fair to say that after you said yes, the relationship went off again?
Probably after, obviously, yeah, after that.
It was obvious that there was no love lost between Barbara Randall and Judy Church, though where Judy's distaste manifested in voodoo dolls, vulgar language, and seething anger, Barb seemed more confident in Leroy's affections. Her behavior towards Judy was dismissive, catty, and just a bit patronizing.
You started to refer to Judy as grandma,
Yes.
right? And that wasn't a compliment, right?
No.
That was meant to be insulting, right?
For saying yes.
And she referred to you as the C word. You learned
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
And Leroy would tell you that that's what she referred to you as.
Yes.
Because you never talked to her in that era.
No.
And so it appeared to you that he was somewhat financially dependent on grandma, on Judy.
Yes.
So was the relationship that he lived with her for stability, and then whenever he got bored with her, he would come visit you for fun?
Yes.
All right.
The two women had very little contact with each other. In the summer of 2022, however, roughly 3 months before the murder, Judy began sending messages to Barb, urging her to leave Leroy. She said that she was done with him and wrote, "Believe me when I say he tells horrid things about you too. He's playing both of us with lies upon lies. And he's a coward, plain and simple, and it's time we both toss him out. Barb never replied to any of Judy's messages. But as she ignored Judy's existence, she also compelled Leroy to erase Judy as well. The day before he proposed marriage to Barb, he had a tattoo with the name Judy across his chest removed. When he died 2 years later, Judy still had hers.
You were aware at some point when you were dating Leroy that he had a tattoo of the word Judy on his heart, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you made him remove that tattoo.
Yes.
And in fact, he did remove the Judy tattoo, right?
Yes.
And you were aware through Leroy that Judy had a tattoo of Leroy on her side.
Yes.
And so you made him remove that tattoo as a condition of his marriage proposal to you, right? That you weren't going to marry somebody with another woman's name on his heart.
No.
And in fact, you don't remember it that way?
No.
And didn't you videotape that marriage proposal and he shows you that, look, I don't have Judy on my heart anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
The strongest evidence of Judy Church's guilt was the bottle of Powerade, Leroy's favorite drink, red in color, filled instead with an orange liquid. It appeared to match the color of the Rain-X bottle located out of place in the kitchen.
Judy Church did not kill Leroy Fowler. Judy Church did not murder Leroy Fowler. There's somewhat of an absurdity in terms of the overreach. They have never, ever been able to tell you a source that they say of the ethylene glycol. And you wonder, why do I have that up here? And that's introduced as evidence. And there's multiple pictures of another bottle of it. Because this is what they originally thought it was. This has no merit as evidence whatsoever in this case, except it was found in the kitchen of the house. None. It's not this. That's the type of distraction that's ongoing here. How about the puppet about Barbara? How many people have done something like that over the years, right? What does that signify? And did we even have a year for that? Was that 2018? And that meant in 2022, 4 years later, she would want to murder Leroy?
Judy was the only person with access to Leroy in the days and hours before his symptoms worsened. There was no reason to believe that he could have accidentally consumed the poison, nor that he would wish to do so intentionally. Then there were the videos, so callously taken over the period of a half an hour before calling for help. The Commonwealth closed their case the same way they had opened it, by reading Judy's own harsh and angry words written to Leroy, the man she claimed had been her whole life. In her writing, she used her nickname for Barb generously.
If you see those two that live in the cottage, tell them I have words. You'll recognize those two because you're with one. I guessed it all, didn't I? You're just here and dragged me along to buy gas because you don't want to be with me in Florida. Like that morning in Florida, you baited me with that on the phone to say out loud that you don't want to be there. And when we left so abruptly, it's exactly what I said, that as soon as we got home, you'd leave. And you did just that, even though you promised otherwise. If you don't want to go back to Florida, just say so. If you and I are done, just say so. I'm not going to fork over another penny for you to me over ever again. Because I know that you'll just still drag that back with us. You keep complaining about the cold and that you want to go home. I want to be in Florida. You only want to be in Florida or anywhere else with my money. Obviously, I am not the one you want to be with because you me over today too. They know how much she had to have hated Barbara Randall to use that word over and over and over again. She used it with her friends. She used it with Leroy. She used it with the police The first time they show up at her house, not knowing a single thing about Leroy, not knowing a single thing about Judy Church, she says, oh yeah, she describes his other girlfriend as the video on Leroy's phone of him proposing to Barbara Randall, it must have been like a knife in the gut. God, she hated Barbara Randall. She hated her. She had the voodoo doll that, despite what Mr. Narkunis is not something that normal people do. That people normally do. It's just not. Leroy removed Judy's name, the tattoo that he had over his heart, at Barbara Randall's urging. God, how painful did this have to be for Judy?
Jurors deliberated for approximately 8.5 hours before reaching a verdict. When they returned, Judy Church was found guilty of first-degree murder. Her crime was one of deliberate premeditation and extreme cruelty. The conviction carries an automatic life sentence without the possibility of parole, though the Commonwealth argued that even if not dictated by law, this maximum sentence would be the only appropriate punishment.
Basically a heinous act of murder, one which saw Mr. Fowler linger for 2 days in increasingly dire medical distress to the point where he was finally declared brain dead, and his family had to make that wrenching decision to terminate his intubation and let him pass. Ms. Church is fully deserving of the most serious sentence that can be imposed under the laws of our Commonwealth, and I therefore impose that sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Leroy's family has openly acknowledged that he was a far from perfect man, though Leroy had many people who cared for him deeply. He is sorely missed by his sister Tammy, his 2 sons, many friends, and of course, his girlfriend, Barbara Randall. And that was the tragic case of Leroy Fowler. Thank you for joining me. I'd like to welcome the newest members of our Sherlock Holmes membership, Jamie Foos and Isabad. It's great to have you both in the lounge. I'm Kevin. This is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one.
Let me find my seat. Kevin, go ahead and settle in. Gotta be selective, doing all the research, keeping it objective. Always been effective. Can say he got a knack. Pick of the litter. You see how Newton got his back. Yeah, the content that you need. This could be a new sign. We talk in the comments. They jot in a few lines. Tune in and hit like. Love that. It's too kind. Feels like the whole